Well, have you noticed that nothing in the world is static? Like everything is always changing, and it sounds like something you've heard before because we have this saying for it even, that the only constant is change, right? We say that. I don't know if we accept that, but we say it. The only constant is change. Because we recognize there's a flow and dynamic to the way things happen in life. And sometimes they're very dynamic, and sometimes they're a little more subtle. But things move, and things change, and energy moves. That's the way life is. That's the way the universe is. And in the physical universe, it's the way it is, and in the metaphysical universe, it's the way it is. There's never an accumulation of energy somewhere that we can all go get when we need it. Have you noticed that? Like if you're tired, poor little Cullen was in the pool for 2 days, and he's tired today. There's no reservoir of energy where he can plug into. Neither is there for us. Because energy moves, and it doesn't accumulate somewhere. It just doesn't happen. Even the volcanic eruption in Hawaii right now, you know, all that energy that was under the earth has been doing its thing for who knows how long. Who knows how long. And now the energy is now spouting above the ground. And I don't know if you're like me, but I can't stop looking at it when I see those videos and watch this lava move. Have you ever seen, you know, am I the only one? Like, it's just so amazing that it's coming out, that energy in the physical form. There's actually a law of conservation of mass that Albert Einstein was attributed to. He says, energy cannot be created nor destroyed, it's only transformed. And that's what's happening in the physical world, it's transformed. There's really no stopping it. You know, we can't go out and stop that, put a big plug in that, in the volcano or in those fissures in Hawaii and stop it. That energy is moving. Energy is moving in the physical world. And sometimes it's a little more subtle. Sometimes it's, you can think about oxygen in, CO2 out, like all day long. There's that exchange of energy, there's that flow of energy, and it goes both ways. Oxygen in, CO2 out, right? There's photosynthesis happening all the time. The sun's energy is transformed by plants into green chlorophyll in the plants. We can't stop it. It's always moving. It's always exchanging. It's the way it works, that exchange. And it's natural. It would be impossible to stop it. And the underlying principle in metaphysics, which Deepak calls the law of circulation, works the same way. You can't stop it. Everything you think, everything you feel, everything energy you bring to a situation, it doesn't stop at your body. It doesn't stop right here. It goes beyond where it originates. In fact, it didn't even originate in you, but we'll just take it from there right now. It's called the law of circulation. Now think about it. We have these, we even describe it as energy. We talk about waves of grief and guilt, right? We talk about waves of grief and guilt. We experience it as waves. And they don't stop right here. People who come to talk about us who are in that wave of guilt, they don't even know what to say to us, do they? No words really can come out of their mouths if we are in the wave of grief. Because they feel that wave also. It doesn't stop right here. That energetic movement goes beyond. It either ripples, sometimes it cascades, sometimes it pulses, sometimes it's overwhelming, and sometimes it's really subtle. Some of you might have been at a concert recently. There's an energy there, isn't it? There's an energy coming from the music and a vibration. Brings joy to you maybe. Maybe you start dancing and pretty soon everybody around you is dancing or bopping and doing what they're doing, right? That energy cannot be contained. It moves. It moves. That energy of joy moves. You might remember a time you were in a meeting and maybe your boss comes in and he or she's really angry, frustrated, or stressed. Can you feel that? Can you feel that energy? You can feel that energy as much as you can if someone comes into that same meeting feeling inspired and creative. Boy, it's a whole different meeting at that point, isn't it? It's a whole different group dynamic because that energy is not contained right in this body. Energy moves in the metaphysical, which simply means beyond the physical, beyond the lava and the shoreline ebbing and flowing. We have this energy created from our thoughts and our feelings, the energy around us, the metaphysical law of circulation. And the universe is operating that way in the physical, and we are operating that way in the physical and the metaphysical, and there's no trying to stop it. It's happening. The person who is angry, the person who is inspired, cannot stop the energy flowing from them. Unless they change their mind, they can transform the energy, but they're not going to stop it. It's very difficult to stop. Just try to stop feeling or thinking right now. It's very difficult. Maybe impossible to do that. We can't stop it. So in this series, what I want us to be able to do is to use this law of circulation to our own benefit and the benefit of the universe. I don't want us to use it willy-nilly or capriciously or once in a while. I want us to be aware of the law so that we can use it to our own benefit and the benefit of the world. And that is simply the law of giving and receiving. This yin and this yang, this infinity symbol of give and receive. Give and receive. And if we consciously participate in this law of circulation, we will recognize abundance in our life. We will recognize that there is no lack or limitation ever, because we are creating from the unseen. Those of you who were here last week, I talked about the field of pure potentiality. We exist in the field of unlimited possibility. Remember the fish in the water? The fish were, one fish knew he was in the water, the other fish were off looking for the water last week. It's like that's what we are. We're off looking for God or looking for this motivation when we exist in it right now. And so it's a matter of using this law to access that pure potentiality that exists right here, right now. Remember, energy isn't created or destroyed, it's simply transformed. So here's what the law is. The more you give, and you've probably heard this before, the more you give, the more you will receive, because you will keep the abundance of the universe circulating in your life. That's the reason. The more you give, the more you will receive, because you keep the abundance that already is circulating through your life. In fact, anything that is of value in life only multiplies when it is given. Anything of value in life only multiplies because it is given. So to use this law to the highest, I'm saying we have to become a giver to life. We have to participate in the activity of giving. Because it has to start. If we want to have the experience, it starts here. We have to really become a giver, that is our way of being. That is the way we bring ourselves to life. Because we either bring ourselves to life as a giver or as a taker. And most of us, or I'll just talk about me so I'm not projecting on you, sometimes I participate in life as a giver, and sometimes I participate as a taker. And I have a feeling most of us do, depending on what it is and how aligned we are with this pure potentiality that I've talked about. Now, a taker to life simply means this. When I'm a taker to life, I expect that the world take care of me. I have the attitude of, you owe me. I deserve this, and you are the one that's supposed to provide. Maybe I feel that way about Social Security. Maybe I feel that way about the government, that they should be taking care of this stuff, darn it. Maybe I feel that way about my family, that if I fall, they should be there to catch me. Maybe I feel that way, and when I feel that way, I'm blocking the flow of abundance. I'm blocking that pure potentiality from coming this way because I'm expecting it to come this way. And that's what it means to be a taker of life. A giver to life simply acknowledges that there is abundance in potentiality that exists right now, and I'm going to let it flow from me. I'm going to believe that from the start. And that's what being a giver to life is about. A giver to life. Two different aspects of me. So maybe you can think about different times when you have a giving consciousness versus a taking consciousness. We all have it. It's not good or bad. It's simply being aware. Don't worry, I'm going to share a story and tell myself, because that's the way it is. But it's important to acknowledge, how am I bringing myself to life? As someone who is willing to give and recognize the abundance in which I live, or someone who expects that that all be taken care of for me because, darn it, I deserve it. The flow of a giving consciousness is a natural flow. It's proven in the physical world. It's natural for the ocean to splash in and ebb out. It's natural for plants to grow and photosynthesize from the energy of the sun. It's natural to be born, to live, and to die. Those are natural cycles. It is natural for us to be giving. It is not natural. It would be like stopping that lava coming out of that volcano and fissures in Hawaii. Stopping that flow is not natural. Here's the key that's really important and that really matters when we bring ourselves as a giver to life. It is the intention behind your giving and receiving that is the most important thing. The intention, listen to this, when we give, should always be to create happiness for the giver and the receiver. Because happiness is life-supporting and life-sustaining, and therefore generates increase. The return is directly proportional to the giving when it is unconditional and from the heart. That is why the act of giving has to be joyful. You know, I talked to you all about giving here when your gifts and love offerings and tithes, and I said, give it with a joyful heart. Give what makes you feel good. There's a reason behind that. That's what makes it powerful, you see. The frame of mind has to be one in which you feel joy in the very act of giving. If you want joy, give joy to others. If you want love, learn to love. If you want attention and appreciation, give it to somebody else. If you want material affluence, help others become materially affluent. Help others do that. The easiest way to get what you want is to help others get what they want. Ooh, have you thought about that? The easiest way to get what you want is to help others get what they want. See, our thoughts and our feelings make a difference in how we give. It's huge. And now I'm going to tell on myself. Yesterday, I went to the Orange Street Arts Festival downtown. Renee and I went, and we ran into some friends, and we bought some things, and we were happy, but I was very tired. My leg is still not quite healed from my hip surgery, and I was just exhausted. My leg hurt. And we got home, and we sat down, and I had my feet up on the ottoman with a glass of water, and there's a knock at the door. I'm like, oh. That was my first thing. Because I just wanted to sit there and watch a show on TV with my leg up. And the gentleman next door has a caregiver, our neighbor John. And it was the first time this caregiver was there. And she knocked on the door. She wanted the number for where the nearest pizza place was because she wanted to order a pizza. And because I was disturbed, because I felt disturbed, it was my disturbance, not hers. I was thinking, you mean you don't know how to Google pizza places right here? Like, how hard is that? Oh, okay, but we have the number. So I gave her the number. She calls the number. I can see her outside ordering the pizza. 2 minutes pass. She knocks on the door again. I don't know the address of where we are. I'm like, all right, let me get on the phone because I know, I'm telling you, the place where Renee and I live is the Bermuda Triangle. No one can find house numbers because they don't, right? Ask anybody who's been there, like, yeah, it's true. Even the fire department can't find places. The ambulances, when I run out with, where are you looking for? Let me point you in the right direction. I said, well, let me get on the phone. Let me tell them how to get you that pizza. So I take her phone, and I'm on the phone, and they had put her on hold. So I'm waiting, and it's Domino's, and they're waiting and waiting and waiting. And I must have waited, at least 30 minutes, right? Waiting and waiting. And finally they got on the phone. He said, "Can I take your order?" I said, "Well, I believe you already have my order." And he said, "Well, let me check." And he put me on hold again. So I hand her the phone and I say, "Listen, just write down what you want on your pizza, give it to me, and I'll go get it." I was not happy. I was not sitting with my leg up. I was tired. I was ornery. I was grumpy. But I went and got the pizza. Even though I acted in a generous way, I was not feeling generous at all. In fact, I was feeling resentful, that I was disturbed, that I felt tired, and I was imposed upon. That is not being a giver to life. And in fact, I planted the opposite seed. I planted the seed of you inconvenienced me. And sometimes that's what happens. I don't know if it's ever happened to you. Maybe I'm the only one. But I want to call your attention to it because it happens. And I was sad about that, and later I saw them out at the mailbox, and I had recovered my own. I said, "I hope you enjoyed your pizza." And they said, "Yes, we did. Thank you so much," right? But what I planted was not what I wanted. And so how many times do we plant what we don't want? When we think we're being so benevolent, and we're taking care of somebody, and that should be enough, but the seed we plant is exactly the opposite. That's not being a giver to life. And in fact, that's being a taker. It's almost like you owed me for that. Hey, she tried to give me some money for gas and I didn't take it, but it's not quite the same of what I'm talking about. The best way to put this metaphysical law into practice, and it's all about practice, is to be conscious of how we give, to be conscious of how we receive, to be aware. And I might have been aware at that time, but I didn't recover until after the act. To be conscious, to use this law consciously, to realize whatever I am giving, I am receiving back in the same moment. Whatever I am giving, if I am giving you owe me, I'm getting you owe me right back. If I am giving resentment, I'm getting resentment right back. That infinity symbol is the perfection of that. Whatever I'm giving, I'm getting in the moment. And beyond that, because it doesn't stay with me, it's rippling out in the world. So how to recover from that? Well, love and kindness, right? That's the best way. But this week, last week we had the affirmation that said, "Today I will judge nothing as it occurs." Remember that? This week, the affirmation is this: "Today I will give something to everyone that I encounter, hopefully not resentment and you owe me. Today I will give something to everybody I encounter." You say, "Well, what could I possibly give to everybody I encounter?" Here's some ideas from Deepak. How about the gifts of caring and loving attention? How about affection? How about appreciation and love? He says those are some of the most precious gifts we can give. I missed my opportunity yesterday, by the way. When you meet someone, you can silently send them a blessing. You can wish them happiness, joy, and laughter. That kind of silent giving is very powerful. You can bring a flower. One flower. There's a lot of flowers around right now. One flower. You can bring a note or a card which says something. How about a compliment? How about a prayer of any kind? A wishing well, silently or out loud. Deepak says, as long as you're giving, you will be receiving. And whatever we are giving is what we are receiving in that moment. So, today I will give something to everyone I encounter. Everyone. How much you can say with your eyes. How big of an opportunity I missed yesterday with that. The second thing that we can do is to receive graciously. Is to receive those same gifts that you can give when are given to us, with the kindness in someone's eyes, with a compliment, with a pat on the back, with those simple things, to receive your family and people in your family. You know, they might not be around so long. Receive them. Appreciate them. Appreciate every small thing. Because that is the cycle that we plant in the world. By giving freely to everyone we meet, and to accept graciously from those who offer a kindness to us. The law of circulation is always in effect, whether we believe it or not, whether we're aware of it or not, it's always working. And we always have a chance to recover, by the way. If I stay in the place of beating myself up about yesterday, that is the energy that I put out. I'm done with that. It's time to move on. It's time to embrace a greater energy and a flow that I want to experience in my life. Of love and kindness, of appreciation, of possibility. It's the long view of life, really. As we practice this, what we'll notice is that it's natural for us to do that. It's natural for us to give our time. It's natural for us to give our money. It's natural for us to volunteer. It's natural for us to pray and sit in meditation. Those are natural things. And as we practice this law, we will come into the nature of giving and receiving and being joy in the process. So let's take these ideas and let's take this wisdom into meditation. Some of you haven't been here before. We're going to take about a 10-minute meditation and just breathing into this moment, this exquisite moment, to receive this exquisite moment, to receive these notes and this vibration that we're about to hear, to receive it with a grateful heart, to let it inspire us, to be a giver to life, to recognize that God is the source of all things, great and small, and that we can channel that energy and use this law to make a difference for our own heart and for the hearts of those around us, indeed for the pulse of the entire universe. To give and to receive in the energy and the beauty of this law of circulation.
She died. She died.
There's an old fishing story from South America that shows how the risk to be touched keeps everything alive in a chain of events we seldom see. It tells of a small flower growing from a stone high above the worn paths that border the sea. The wind blows its subtle fragrance down shore, where a young woman is contemplating suicide, and something in the hint of flower lifts her for a moment out of her depression until she gets lost staring at the waves. The flower's scent is then picked up by a gull, who, following it, flies wildly through the only cloud in the lazy sky. Below, an old man in a fishing boat is stunned by the sudden appearance of a gull from a cloud. He relaxes his net, and underneath the shadow of the boat, the tangled angelfish squirm free.